for your happy Father's Day wishes. Does anyone have a question?
I have a question. This is Rusty. Could you explain the concept of non-dualism?
I'm sorry, again?
Could you explain the concept of non-dualism?
Yeah, non-dualism means not two. The Xin Ming, which is the first Zen poem on record, coming from about the year 600, the Common Era, Zen Master San, the third ancestor. The Xin Ming is a poem, 36 four-line stanzas. It begins, "The great way is not difficult. Just don't pick and choose." Picking and choosing is making opposites. I like this, I don't like that. So that's how non-duality, or its opposite, duality, appears in our lives, that we're always making two. I and thou is also making two. So what this poem, this teaching, is pointing at is that you and I are not separate. You and this world, not separate. That in the deepest sense, everything is completely unified. Everything is one. The poem ends, "Faith and mind are not two. Not two are faith and mind." The title of the poem is Faith in Mind, or Trust in Mind. The word can be translated either way. So if you make two, you have suffering. If you make opposites, they collide. This is not to say that everything is one big glom, without any individuality. But our individuality does not make us separate. Yeah, so you are Rusty and I am Stan. But our minds come together. They're coming together right now. You spoke, I'm speaking. And you can speak again if you would like. Thank you, Rusty.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
I have a.
Yes, Jane, go ahead.
I hear this often about looking inside.
Mm-hmm.
When you're meditating, look inside.
Yeah.
But I mean, my understanding is that when you're sitting, you are just doing your practice. You're not making an effort to look inside and, deal with, things arise,
Mm-hmm.
but aren't we supposed to just set them aside and then go back to your practice? I guess I don't understand the concept of looking inside and stuff.
Looking inside means holding the great question, what are you? Look outside and hold that question as well. In fact, there's a better answer there. Look outside. So it's just a teaching expression. Doesn't mean self-examination, self-analysis, or anything like that. But it is the great question, what am I? Sometimes it says that there are 3 pillars of Zen. Great question, great, excuse me, great faith, and great courage. So sometimes great question is expressed as great doubt. Like, what is this? What am I? Then great faith is, even if you don't know, and it's best to keep that don't know, believe in yourself 100%. Believe in this world 100%. That's great faith. In order to do this practice, it takes great courage. So we express great courage as a try mind. Try for 10,000 years, nonstop. That's great courage. So you might call these the 3 pillars or foundations of Zen, but I like to think of them as the corners of a triangle. So great question connects with great faith. And both of those connect with great courage. Try. And so this is the direction of our Zen practice. Understand your true self and help this world. You don't have to literally look inside to do that. When I look inside, I just see blood and guts. I don't know. I'd rather look at you, Jane, okay? So thank you for your question. Are there any other questions?
I have a question. So how do you go about signing up for interviews? If you want to do one of the interviews, I think it's the 1st and 3rd Saturday, but that's all I know.
Thank you. How do you sign up for interviews is the question. We have the answer right here.
I just brought Stan some water. The way you sign up for interviews is you send a note and we'll tell you the information of how to do interviews.
So send a note to the Kansas Zen Center with the addresses on our website. And it takes a password to really have an interview, because we don't want interviews to be interrupted by some troll. But if a troll comes, we can give that troll an interview too, I suppose.
It's kansaszencenter@gmail.com.
kansaszencenter@gmail.com. So I'm glad you're interested in an interview. Ting already explained what interviews are like, both in some detail and what it feels like to have an interview. So I don't have to add anything to that. But it is very important in our practice. Mind meeting mind. That's what interviews are all about. And mind, connecting directly with the situation that the Kongan expresses. Sometimes it's a pretty outrageous situation. Sometimes it seems, completely mystifying. But actually, they're all very simple questions. Just pay attention to this moment and everything becomes clear. So Zen takes a very complicated mind, which is what our minds are always like. We've been thinking, probably since we've been in the womb, and sort of non-stop thinking. And that creates many complications. So this complicated mind has to become very simple. Very simple means very clear. Just perceive directly, what is this situation in front of me right now, the situation that the Kongan presents. So what is my relationship to this situation? And what is my correct function? And that is a paradigm for how we lead our lives, moment to moment. What is the situation? What is my relationship? What is my correct function? And then if your center is strong, you can actually do it. In a Kongan interview, your center is strong means you completely believe in yourself. So sometimes, the teacher can be a very imposing figure, sort of deliberately, maybe, to see how much you believe in yourself. And the teacher has a stick, and you don't have a stick. So there's this kind of authority differential there, but you have to be completely undeterred by that. Just come back strong. You can't go wrong. So that's always the first step in a Kongan interview. Maybe I'm giving something away there, but that's okay. If you believe in it, then fine. And if you don't, you won't remember it. So believe in yourself 100%, okay? Any other questions?
Stan,
Yes.
you talk about this great question, and I think this is something I've asked about before, but we have this great question, what is this, or what am I? But we also have don't know.
Mm-hmm.
We're not I think the thing that bugs me is I want an answer to that question, and I don't think I'm ever going to get one. That, what is this? Because it is this great question.
Mm-hmm.
I want an answer.
What are you doing right now?
Sitting, talking to you.
Mm-hmm. Very good. So don't know mind simply means a clear mind. Usually our minds are very cluttered with things that we think we know. And this clutter accumulates over the years. Sometimes we say breath sweeps mind. So breath should also always be some component of your meditation practice. It doesn't have to be extreme breathing. I kind of like extreme breathing. My breath practice is kind of pranayama. But whatever it is, every moment you are breathing. So when you breathe out, you can empty your mind. That breath can sweep away all the clutter in your mind. We think we know a lot of things, but unless we've completely attained them, we don't really know them. Better always to return to don't know, the mind that's completely open. The mind is not open, nothing can come in. And all of our thoughts, all of our thinking, all of the things we think we know are simply an obstruction, separating ourselves from the current situation, from the person we're with. So to be completely receptive, completely open, everyone recognizes that as a virtue. And people with whom you're dealing can see if you're completely open or if you're simply walled shut and simply waiting for that person's approval in some way. So a don't know mind is a clear mind, a mind that's not obstructed by what Zen Master Hae Kwang used to call many thinking. His pidgin English could be very expressive. He didn't say many thoughts. He said many thinking. So we would maybe translate that as a lot of thinking. But many thinking, yeah, that mind. The opposite of that is don't know, completely open. We may understand a lot of things, but none of us, and certainly myself included, don't understand what this universe really is. Physicists try to understand this universe. I like the way that Lucretius, the ancient Roman poet, who was working with Epicurean philosophy, expressed how this universe came to be. That originally, there are simply all of these particles, completely alike and perfectly infinitesimal. We would say not atoms, but subatomic particles. And they're all moving together in perfectly straight lines. And then one of them just inclines a little bit and hits another one. And before you know it, we have this universe. That they all start colliding with each other and interacting and forming atoms and forming all of the entities that now populate our universe. But originally, everything is very simple, very uncomplicated, very open. So that's don't know mind. Or at least my notion of it. So thank you. Maybe time for one more question. But if not, as apparently not, thank you very much. When Judy came in, she changed me to gallery view, so finally I was able to see all of you. And it's wonderful to see all of you and to have your practice.